Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about chapter 6-4, which is on solving compound equations. So there's going to be different types of equations now, and they're going to look a little weird. This is going to be something new we're working with, and I understand that. So hopefully, if we have to watch this video a couple times or go over a couple things in class, that's totally fine. So first off, we're going to talk about different types of graphs with compound equations. So what we're basically going to be doing is taking two inequalities, if you notice right here and right here. We're going to be taking two separate inequalities, and we're going to be putting them on the same graph. Okay, so I'm just going to graph x is less than 3 real quick. So if I said 3 was right here, if I said this was 0 in the middle, and then I said this was -2 right here, because those are the numbers they're giving me, I'm just going to put a circle. It's going to be an open circle if you look at that number. And then it's saying x is everything less than 3. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to lightly shade a little bit, just so I know which direction it's going. Okay, that is important to know which direction it's going for when we're done. Okay, same thing on the next one. I'm just going to put a closed circle on -2. And they're saying here x is greater than everything. X is greater than or equal to -2. So I'm going to shade in everything greater than or equal to -2. And if we look, these two graphs are going to run into each other. They're going to collide. That's okay. This is one of the types of examples. So now all I'm going to do is finish shading in my graph and connecting them. Okay. Same thing on the next one. So if I made a number line and I said x is at 3,500, I'm just going to put 3,500. And here's 2,500. And I'm just going to start off by graphing x is greater than 3,500. So if I'm going to put an open circle, and I'm just going to shade it a little bit so I know which direction it's kind of going. And then I'm going to do the same thing with 2,500. So we're going to open circle. And it shades to the left because x is everything less than 2,500. If you notice, these two graphs are never going to run into each other. So this is a type of graph you're going to see today. They're going to combine, they're going to overlap each other, they're going to go opposite directions. That's fine. Okay, same thing on the next one. So on an equation like this pretty much is they're going to take kind of like this, two separate equations, and they're going to combine it into one. So what this is really saying is x is greater than 7, because if you look right here, x is greater than 7, and x is less than or equal to 15. So I'm just going to start off by graphing. Here's 7. I'm just going to put an open circle, and x is going to be greater, so I'm just going to shade it in a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to go to 15, just putting it on a random spot where 15 might be, and then it's going to be a closed circle. And then I'm going to look at it, and this is going to be everything less than or equal to 15. So these two graphs, if I keep them going, are going to eventually overlap each other, which is totally fine. That's what we want. So that is what my graph is going to look like. Okay, same thing on a problem like this. Y is going to be greater than -1, and y is going to be greater than 15. So I'm just going to do two separate graphs on the same one. Okay. So I'm going to go to -1. Here, I'm just saying that's -1. It's going to be an open circle, and I'm going to shade everything to the right. And then I'm going to go with y is greater than 15. So I'm going to say here's 15. And I'm going to be an open circle, and it's greater, so it's everything to the right. So if we look at these graphs, they're eventually going to overlap, right? If I keep going with this one, it's going that way. If I keep going this one, it's that way. So what they're going to do is they're going to say your answer is by doing this. And that's what your graph is going to look like. Okay, so there's different types of graphs. We see some that combine in the middle. We see some that go opposite ways. We see some that are combined like this and do that. Some that are combined and do this and do that. So there's multiple different types you're going to see today, which is fine. Now, when it comes to solving them, we're going to treat them like two separate equations, and then we're going to graph our answers. So what this means is I have an equation right here, kind of like how I showed on the last one. X minus 4 is greater than -5. And then in blue, if we look at it, we have x minus 4 is less than 2. So I'm just going to solve these now, two separate equations. So we're going to solve the first one. Add 4 to both sides. So we have x is greater than -1. Then I'm going to do this one. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. X is less than 6. So what we have here is a graph we're going to make. And then from that graph, you have x is greater than -1. So we're going to put -1 on here. It's going to be an open circle, and it's going to highlight everything that is greater. And then in blue, we have an open circle at 6, and it's going to be everything less than. So I'm just going to use black because blue on blue won't show up. And if we look, our two graphs are eventually going to combine. So all I got to do is just fill them in until they combine. And I'm done. You have solved two equations. One's like this, the exact same thing. So you just treat it like two separate equations. Okay, they gave me two separate equations right here. I have -3h plus 4 is less than 19. I have 7h minus 3 is greater than 18. I'm just going to solve both of these. So -4, -3h is less than 15, divided by -3. So h, flip my sign because I've divided both sides by negative. -5, add 3, 7h is greater than 21. So I'm going to divide both sides by 7. H is greater than 3. Then you would put both those on the same graph, and then you'd be done. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully we're understanding. Thanks for watching, guys.